To the first episode of the Reformed Creators, take number 527.
Yeah, this has been one heck of a time getting this going.
Yes, it has.
I'm sorry, I'm not so computer literate.
That's okay. We're learning. We're all learning here. We're all noobs. Yeah. We're all, trying to figure this out. Be like the big boys. And do what we can and become popular for Jesus, because that's what
it's over the world.
Exactly, we're taking over the world. We told Logan we were doing that, and we meant it.
Hashtag Theonomy.
Yeah.
Right into it, Jesse.
Yes. and we just lost like 20 of our viewers. Right there.
What do we say about leaving that till the end?
I know, right? Anyways, so first of all, let's kind of tell everybody who we are. Why don't you start us off, Josh?
I am Josh Grizzlenator person, whatever you want to call me.
Yes. Grizzlenator 103 on the YouTubes.
Yeah, YouTube channel.
Yes.
Shameless plug. Woo!
Yes. Go subscribe to him, and then not too far away from him is
Jesse. Probably gonna go just Jesse.
Because he doesn't do YouTube.
Because I don't do YouTube or Instagram or any of that kind of stuff. Just Facebook. So find me on Facebook. Hit friend request button. I probably won't add many people, but
find me. Send me a friend request. I won't add you, but you can send me a friend request.
Let me know I'm loved.
I'll at least check it out beforehand.
Yeah. Anyways, and
that was awkward.
Yeah, I am the third host. We're kind of like the Three Musketeers, but I am your third host, the lame man himself, Sam Cooper, and this is my third podcast that I've attempted to do. And this time...
Can you tell which one of us has hosted a podcast before?
Write in and tell us how bad we're doing. If you still know how to write things in this modern age. Yeah. But,
first episode. Be okay.
Yeah, we're good. And you can find me on all of the social medias by different handles, but you can definitely find me on YouTube at youtube.com/Simply Sam Cooper, although that's not my current moniker. But if you find something that says The Lame Man, you're probably in the right place.
Yep.
Anyways, as you can probably tell, two of us are YouTubers. And to give you a little background, we are part of the... How shall I say this? The Reformed internet community, basically.
Right.
Started with the Reformed Pub and the Reformed Pub Cast, which was a podcast. And then the Reformed Pub Gamers group started, and they became the Reformed Gamers, and they have a podcast. And so we're in the Reformed Gamers group, and I'm talking about YouTube. And some random guy named Josh Grizzle was like, hey, we should start a YouTubers group. And then later on down the line, we were like, well, why just limit it to YouTubers? There's a ton of creative people on here. That's not necessarily what I want to do with the rest of my life. I kind of want to go into film.
Exactly.
So why don't we just call ourselves the Reformed Creators? Because that encompasses all kinds of creativity, not just YouTube, not just film, but also art of the painting variety, writing, blogging, anything you can put your mind to and put on a medium of some sort can be
Just good old-fashioned discussion.
Yes, that in itself is creative because you have to be creative in how you discuss things and how you talk. And
that's right.
So,
because that's the only amount of creativity Jesse does.
Exactly.
We had to change the name because Jesse was part of the group, so
it's like, well,
we either kick Jesse out or change the name.
Yes, it was all for Jesse. It really was.
Yeah.
Poor Jesse doesn't do
Pray
anything.
for me and my pride and humility.
Yeah. You're kind of like I don't know if y'all have watched Phineas and Ferb, but
I have.
They always talk about Perry, and it's like he's a platypus. He doesn't do much. So Jesse is
Perry the platypus.
Yeah, we have Jesse the platypus.
Big guy. So, what's the plural form of platypus?
Platypi? I think.
Platypus, maybe?
Yeah,
Platypuses.
It could be like fish, and it's just platypus, multiple platypus.
I think platypi. Platypi.
I'm like a fool. Platypi.
Yeah.
Platypi. Like that
Yes. Oh wow, we're doing so great. Okay. Anyways,
welcome to the Cringe Cast.
Yeah, exactly. How are we? Are we introduced properly? You think, or do we need to say more?
By this point, I think so.
Okay, you know that we're inadequate at this. That's good enough. Moving on, we want to talk about movies because that's kind of one of the things we've been talking.
There's a certain blockbuster coming out in the next few weeks or months or I don't know when it's coming out. It's gonna be such a great
filler.
It's gonna be such a great movie that I have forgotten the name and when it comes, or not the name. But
Yeah, because I don't know what you're talking about because the one I'm thinking about already came out on April 1st.
I'm a liar.
Okay, so you were thinking about the same movie, but you didn't.
We were talking about the same movie. I just have no idea.
It came out on April 1st. It came out on April Fool's Day.
So everybody just ignore me for the rest of the podcast.
Yeah.
It came out that day because that's what it does.
It fools you.
Just
yeah. I saw. Okay, for those of you who are just slow, we're talking about God's Not Dead, and I'm sorry for calling you slow.
God's Not Dead, number 2.
Number 2, yeah.
Second.
The second one. Another one?
After the $60 million first one, we needed another one.
Exactly.
Joss Whedon turns with more bad apologetics.
Yes. Just bring back Firefly. That's all I care about, okay? No.
Stop making stupid movies, Josh.
Every one of the movies.
But
What'd
yeah. So
you say, Jesse?
all the atheists die. Spoiler alert.
The atheist dies in this one too.
No, because like the first movie you had the atheist dies. Spoiler alert. And then you had the liberal had cancer, but they both get saved. So
Liberalism is cancer.
Symbolism, isn't it? Like that's what they're trying to say. Anyways, let's get some kind of coherence with this. God's Not Dead 2 came out on April 1st, and we've just kind of been talking about Christian movies in general and that whole industry within and of itself, because there is kind of a stigma, and God's Not Dead perpetuates that stigma that Christian movies are not that great.
No.
And they kind of preach to the choir, and that's putting it nicely because I could say a lot of other stuff. They preach to the choir. They validate your own self-worth and self-importance. They make us the victim and the hero all at the same time.
I don't know how they do that, but they do.
They do it. It's great.
These are martyrism, I guess that's a word.
Martyrism?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. So let's talk about the first movie first, because we've all seen that or know enough of it, whereas the second movie came out just recently. So the first movie, I did not want to watch the first movie, and then I did want to watch the first movie because I wanted to form my own opinion.
Right.
But I was hesitant to see it because of all the negative, because I follow a lot of people who share my point of view about Christian movies and movies in general, and they were saying all the stuff that I'm saying now, so I avoided the movie because I was like, I don't really want to support a film that does this kind of thing. So for the longest time, I avoided it. I debated with my other friends. I was still going to a non-denominational church at the time, and that was very culture-centered, the Christian culture, and so God's Not Dead was marketed...
Oppression.
Yeah, God's Not Dead was marketed for the culture I was in, for the church I was in, and there were certain people at my church, not everybody in my church, just certain people, that just, this movie was the greatest thing ever, and we need to go see it 1,000,000 times, and,
Yep.
and then, like, we're talking about the apologetics in the movie, and then they're like, well, I took an apologetics class, and this is really good apologetics, and I'm just sitting here like, okay, that's good, I guess, that you took a class.
Did you walk out early, or what did you do?
I mean...
You sit there for 5 minutes like, I got this.
Did either of you actually go to the theater to see the movie?
No. We watched it at church.
I saw it for the first time. Josh and I used to attend church together, so I saw it for the first time there.
Right. And I saw it via the internet, and that's all I'm going to say. But...
Sam has a bootleg copy of The Passion of the Christ, everyone.
He does. Brother,
I have no idea.
I don't even have a copy of The Passion of the Christ. I could be all reformed
because
on...
we believe the second commandment, that's why.
Oh.
But
yeah, that's a whole nother topic.
But 2CV, man, 2CV. But anyways, so I saw this movie, and immediately it just rubbed me the wrong way because of the girlfriend. I hated the girlfriend from the get-go. I was like,
there's so much that could be said about her.
It's like, this is not a good relationship. Like, y'all started dating in youth group? That's the first problem right there, is they started dating in youth group. Secondly, who teaches you to talk like that about a guy that you start dating in youth group? I mean, that's just bad on so many levels, and that was the point. This was a character that you weren't necessarily supposed to like.
You like Jesus too much.
Yeah, it's just, I mean... And she was like, God wants you to be with me. I'm like, bye, Felicia. No, thank you. It's like, that whole thing ruined. Like, but anyway... The crux of the movie is messed up because it's not realistic. But I figured out a way around that mentally. I figured out a way around that, guys. I figured it out. Okay. Because the whole idea for movies is to suspend your disbelief, right? I mean,
right.
Okay.
And but the movie, the way the movie is portrayed is they're marketing to Christians, and they're saying this is something that could actually happen. So they kind of
once been in that situation.
I know, but and if you were, it could easily be resolved by going to a dean, but that, we don't want to talk about the actual way to deal with those things. But anyways, I figured it out. This is, how Marvel and DC, they have a multiverse, right? They have multiple.
I like where this is going.
Yeah, they have a multi. So the movies are in a separate universe from the comics, and even within the comics, there are multiple universes that span over the different comic book series, so nothing gets confused. Like if you see Miles Morales is in one universe as Spider-Man, and Peter Parker is still Spider-Man in another universe.
Right.
So, all right, y'all lost me.
It's Peter Parker with a really bad tan.
Yeah, but so this
okay. For the people that don't know, like Jesse, Miles Morales is a different Spider-Man, and he's black.
Yes, and in the how would I put that series that he's in, Peter Parker, is he dead? I think he's dead.
I'm not sure.
Spoiler alert. I don't actually
did Peter Parker keep the spider and wait for somebody else for the spider to bite?
I don't.
Is that how you
I honestly don't know. I get all my comic book information from YouTubers. I'm more interested in learning about them than I am about reading them for myself. It's a weird thing I do. So, yeah. But anyways, back to the whole multiverse thing. See, this whole God's Not Dead franchise is just like Marvel in the fact that their universe is different from ours. So So their universe, this is realistic. This is, when Christians get in trouble, they do the dramatic hero victim thing. And they stand up in front of the professor, and they stand up in front of their bosses and try to go to court and keep themselves from being fired for quoting Jesus. Whereas in the real world, if you just quote Jesus when somebody mentions him, when you're talking about, because this is from the trailer for the second movie, when you're talking about, nonviolence, and you quote Jesus saying, love your enemies, and you just quote him, and because somebody mentioned him, that's what gets me, is it's even in the trailer. A student brought it up. It's not her fault.
Yeah.
I mean,
she answered his question.
That's so messed up to even think that people think that would happen. So this...
Can we make it a point that at least in the second movie so far, they've already actually talked about Jesus?
That's a good point. Yeah, I mean, that's huge. I mean,
I don't remember much of the first one talking about Jesus.
I know it's
up until the very end with the sinner's prayer. That.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or the whole where the atheist decided to, like, oh well, I'm about to die. Maybe I should trust Jesus.
Right. That easy believism for you. But anyways, so this whole thing, it's just another universe where this is actually realistic and this stuff actually happens, and you actually get in trouble for just quoting Jesus, and when somebody asks you about him, and then a student texts their mom, and it starts this whole domino effect where you get in trouble, and your coworkers are like, I can't believe you did that, Grace. I mean, that lady in the trailer, I'm just like, seriously? Like, they have... Oh, gosh.
How dare you mention Jesus' name in public in a
I think it's safe
country.
to say, too, like, on a real standpoint, though, like I know Josh and I are in Georgia, Sam's in Louisiana, like we're in the heart of the Bible Belt South down here, so
yeah, I mean,
like that's really not a big deal to us, but it could be a big, in defense of the second one, it could be a big deal to somebody in California.
That is true.
Somebody, Wisconsin is a very like liberal state. Some farmer out there could not like it. Who knows?
That's true.
So in defense of, I mean, we do have to look at that from our standpoint. In defense of that is, we grew up, we were a year old, in church, and a lot of people,
don't
unfortunately, don't understand that viewpoint, or haven't been evangelized like that. So
yeah,
and that could be true. I mean, but I don't know. It's still.
But also in our defense of what we're saying here is, like, we know that the God's Not Dead movie like target the Bible Belt and target Christians in general.
There was Duck Dynasty in it.
Right. and so, like things like talking about Jesus. I mean, we grew up, I would say, we're all around the same age. We grew up saying the Pledge of Allegiance, I know whenever I grew up early, we still had prayer, and like our teachers would pray in school, or we would have a group prayer Bible study in the mornings. Like, that's not frowned upon where we are here. So,
Still, well, I mean, it's still not. I mean, they still do that. Like every year they had the gather at the pole or whatever in front of the school.
Exactly.
Yeah, the at the pole thing.
Yeah. National Day of Prayer, all that stuff.
Yeah, I think it's ridiculous from our standpoint, and I'll go ahead and say ridiculous, but I think it's ridiculous to say, me as a teacher, I think that's the case with God's Not Dead too, or, anybody with, me personally, I am going into a field of work to where I have to, have control over young people, and so like if I mention religion at all, regardless, I don't believe at all that I would be, detained or fired or any question for my job or even my integrity just by mentioning that. I think from my standpoint, that's ridiculous.
Unless you make a big deal about it, like somebody from Kentucky.
Right.
who I will not name because that's months ago, but that happened, and you know, you make a big stink about it. Which I feel like that's what God's Not Dead too is like, maybe they wanted like a small thing, like, look, you just don't do that anymore. And
well, they're probably trying to capitalize on the whole.
Yeah.
Well, I'll say her name, Kim Davis thing.
Yeah, but I mean, but that's the thing is like, I wonder if the movie's gonna be realistic and they're gonna be like, just don't do that anymore, and she's gonna be like, no, I should have the right to do it, and then that's gonna blow up. You know, if they did that, I would appreciate the movie a lot more. But I doubt that that's how it's gonna go. I think they're gonna like try to fire her or something stupid like that, and which I mean, because that was the whole thing with Kim Davis. They were just like, okay, you don't have to give these out or whatever, but you gotta let your people under you do it if you're not comfortable doing it. And even still, my whole thing is, and this is just getting real for a second, you could step down from your job, whether you're a teacher or you're a county clerk. You could step down from your job, and
100%. I agree. Yeah.
You know.
So I like, we can't. Although we believe they should, and although we believe eventually they will, you can't expect the world's standards to line up with your Christian standards, and expect those people to be like, well, okay then.
Right.
Like, it's not how it's going to work.
Well, not only that, but I think whenever you are offered a job, like, things are laid out in front of you. These are the expectations for you to do this job.
Right.
Just like, to jump on a bandwagon that's in the news right now, just like with this minimum wage going to $15 an hour, like, that's ridiculous. But, if you go to work at McDonald's or the county clerk or whatever, they say, this is what the job that we want done. This is what we want you to do at this job. This is how much we're going to pay you. You sign a contract that you're saying, I'll do all this for this amount.
Right.
In hopes that it might grow into something else. You're not signing a contract saying, if you don't like what's in that contract, if Kim Davis didn't like the fact that, hey, if we change this law, because I'm sure it was in there, if we change this law, you have to abide by the new laws, obviously.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Then don't take the job. Sorry.
Right.
Yeah.
And there are arguments for that, like she was elected or whatever before the law changed, so she was acting on the people of Kentucky's wishes originally, and the Supreme Court case was not voted on by the people of, there's all kinds of arguments for that, so that's a little bit different, but it's still kind of similar in the sense that we make a bigger deal out of these things than we need to, I think. So we have movies, going back to the point of making movies about this stuff, we make movies that only perpetuate this stupidity. I'm sorry. It's victimization, it's persecution complex, it's stuff that is, like, again, there is a thing in film and in theater and in everything else called the suspension of disbelief. You go to the theater and you suspend your disbelief when you sit in that chair and watch whatever is put in front of you and say, is this, like, you go to the Lord of the Rings, you suspend your disbelief in dragons to see Smaug or whatever his name is. I still haven't seen The Hobbit. Anyway.
Really? Okay, that's a whole different topic. Okay.
I have trouble with...
I read the book because I'm old school like that, but
And see, so I know the gist of it, but anyways, or when you play Skyrim, you suspend your disbelief in dragons in Skyrim to defeat Alduin and do all that stuff.
Right.
But when you market this as this is something where you go to it and you can learn how to defend your faith, and you go to it and you can stand up for what you believe. And even I watched a review by Kevin, I forgot his last name, but it's Say Goodnight Kevin on YouTube. He reviews Christian films. His slogan is holding Christian films up to the same standard as all the other films, which I wholeheartedly believe in, and that's kind of that's where we're getting. And so he was like, you're marketing this as, if I tell people about this movie and I get my friends to go see this movie and I send out that text, then I am not just talking about a movie. I am expressing my faith, and I am defending my faith, and and I am witnessing, and it just creates this big, and it makes 60 million. You said?
Yeah, something. Yeah,
I mean, I'm googling it. I just googled it right now. Mm-hmm. Made over 60 million.
Jeez.
And
that's crazy.
What was their budget on that thing? Let me Google it. Couldn't have been that much. I mean, we've seen the acting.
Right.
Their biggest budget cut was getting the Newsboys to play.
Probably, most likely, and the Robertsons, Willie and his wife, but I mean,
so their movie budget was $2 million.
What? They made $58 million off of that movie.
Okay.
Let's see. Budget was $2 million. The box office for it was $62.6 million.
Jeez.
So they made
60 million, right at $60,600,000.
Jeez, that's ridiculous.
Okay, see, and I have no problem with Christian films making money. I want to make that perfectly clear.
No, absolutely.
Because that's what somebody's going to say.
No, that's not what we're saying.
But I have a problem with making this Christian movie the end-all be-all of witnessing and defending the faith and standing up for your faith. First of all, God doesn't necessarily need us to stand up for him.
I feel like God wants me to defend him.
Yeah,
right.
I was watching another Say Goodnight Kevin, one of his movie reviews, and it was Woodlawn, and
I haven't seen that one.
They did it again. It was like there was this football player, and he was like, I don't know what I'm supposed to do with my life. And the football team's chaplain is talking to him in an empty gym, and he's like, God wants you to be a superstar. And Kevin was like, yeah. And Kevin was like, what is the deal with people in Christian movies knowing God's will so easily? Like, I was like, thank you.
And then he rolled down the screen and there was a Joel Osteen poster.
Yeah.
Right there.
And then the same thing, to just go to all movies in general. The same thing happened in Woodlawn. They turned what was basically Remember the Titans with Christianity mixed in. Which Remember the Titans had some already, but it was basically a carbon copy of Remember the Titans, and then they added the whole, wait a minute, you guys have a preacher talking to your football team, and this was in the 70s, okay?
That was extremely common. Still is common.
And I think maybe they had a little bit of that, the questioning of that going on. I doubt it. I seriously doubt it, because that was during the Civil Rights Movement. They had bigger problems back then, and that was partly what again, it was Remember the Titans light. That's what it was. If you go see Woodlawn, just expect Remember the Titans without being as good, and without the comedy, and without actually knowing anything about the football players, because they don't go into detail about it. And so...
Ain't no mountain high, ain't no valley.
Yes. It's a great movie. I want to go watch it now. But anyway, so they did the same thing in Woodlawn, where they had to have, they're persecuting the Christians. So it's no longer about this newly racially integrated team coming together. It's now about, we got to stand up for our faith, and we got to pray the Lord's Prayer at the football game. I'm sorry, but I'm tired of that. I'm tired of. I love apologetics, and I love defending my worldview in a realistic context. But I'm tired of the persecution complex.
Yeah, and I think that us discussing movies and stuff, I think that just scratches the surface of that whole complex. Yeah. I mean, it goes much, much deeper than just a film. But, I mean, you think, like Josh and I just said, that we watched this movie in church. Yeah. Like, our whole congregation watched this movie and applauded at the end,
Yeah.
That, I mean, to me, that just says something about, the leadership within not only local churches, but on a government level. If we're really looking for, Christianity to make that comeback, I mean, we're not going to discuss theologically what we're talking about, but, if we're looking for that, it starts with little things like, do we allow this movie to be seen in our churches? Do we show our kids? I mean, I have a kid. I know you guys don't have kids, but, do I let my kids see this movie?
Yeah.
And here's the thing. I'm not against anybody watching the movie. Just be smart enough to know that you're smarter than the movie. If that makes sense.
I mean, I've seen the movie. I would watch it again. I have the T-shirt in my drawer.
Yep.
But just, I don't know. Like, just to make it clear, I dislike it the least of all three of us.
I was about to tell you to tell them what you keep telling us.
Well, I mean, at the very least, you can give it the very least you can give it is it starts conversations.
Yeah.
Which,
amen. Right.
It does.
You have to look for, okay, is this theologically correct? No. Could it be a much better movie in general? Yes.
Mm-hmm.
But God's going to use it either way. It wouldn't have made $60 million if he wasn't going to. So.
Right. I mean, you compare it to Heaven is for Real, and it gets a Golden Globe, in my opinion. But
I never saw Heaven is for Real. I don't have any interest in seeing that movie.
The same guys made it, but
yeah,
it's just
So
I don't know how much. Even with, I mean, we're talking about God's Not Dead because the second one came out, but a couple months ago that War Room movie came out.
Yeah.
Right.
Great movie, great message. Just
it was good.
Oh,
what are we teaching? What are we teaching people?
Yeah. I thought War Room was good, and then I watched a review of it, and now I don't think it's so good. See, that's the problem. Even with me, like, if I watch somebody else's opinion on stuff, I'm like, wait, he's right. That is kind of weird. But War Room was...
I enjoyed War Room.
War Room was decent. Like, and it was from the same people who made Facing the Giants. It was from the Kendrick brothers.
Right.
And so it's that same caliber of film, but they made it for a lot less money than some of their other movies because they made a lot of money with Facing the Giants and Fireproof. And then, which I liked Fireproof too. But basically, War Room is Fireproof, but now instead of him being a firefighter, they're just your average
Yeah.
couple.
Did either of you see
Yeah.
Did either of you see Courageous?
I
did see Courageous.
I like that movie.
Now I'll have to admit, like, even though, and Josh and I and Sam and I have discussed this, but even though I can't stand theologically these movies, I mean, they're not quite Teflo Dollar to me, but they're not, anything good either. So even though I can't stand them theologically, I will say though, in my opinion, the Kendrick brothers movies, like, blow God's Not Dead out of the water.
Oh yeah,
and not only that, but they've improved since Facing the Giants.
And you can see in my opinion, you can see, like, from the Kendrick brothers, they made a film before Facing the Giants. I forget what it's called.
Flywheel.
Flywheel. There we go. You take that Flywheel movie to what War Room was and what Fireproof was, and you just look at how they were good stewards of what God did for them through those movies. I can appreciate that, and I applaud that. Theologically we disagree, and that happens a lot. But from what Josh is saying, you take these movies and you put them on, a shelf, and you say, it starts conversations. Somebody comes to your house, and they say, "Hey, I haven't seen that War Room movie." I would advise somebody to watch it. I mean, would I say watch it and then come, let's say a prayer and get saved? No, but if somebody were interested, I would say, just give them a little background. Hey, I don't agree with, the way that this movie represents prayer, but it's a great movie. It'll get your heart set in the right place, in my opinion. And and we'll go from there. So I can understand, I can see the goodness of it. I just can't. When I think about it on an eternal time road, I can't stand it. When, the here and now, I can see, but when I factor that into eternity, it's just I can't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. It's like this is the types of movie. Even though War Room is better, even though the Kendrick brothers do a better job than the God's Not Dead folks, there's still a least common denominator Christianity that they're appealing to where you can have the lady talking to the mugger, you put that knife down in the name of Jesus, or the wife, the main female lead talking to the devil.
Yeah, that was like, what's going on here?
And I busted out.
The devil is not in your house.
Exactly. I busted out laughing at the old lady and the mugger, because and it wasn't even the fact that she did that. It was the fact that she did that, and immediately they cut to them talking to the cops. I'm like, which implies that it worked. They don't see him putting it down or anything. They just kind of imply it with the way they edited it. I thought it was brilliant.
What did she say to the cops?
And she was just like, yeah, this one. The old lady's just sitting there eating her ice cream like it was no big deal, and then the main female character's like, I can't believe that's happened. And you're just sitting there. I don't even remember what the old lady said to the cops, because I was just so taken aback by the fact that it happened, and two, by the editing, because I thought the editing of that was brilliant, because it was just, say it and make it all dramatic, and then just cut through them talking to the cops and her eating her ice cream.
I thought they took the Joel Osteen approach.
I mean, that was so. I mean, there were just that movie had some funny moments,
It did.
I think they carried on some jokes a little too long, the foot thing and but the very end, when it all paid off, at least they paid it off. My husband's rubbing my feet and I'm eating my favorite ice cream.
I think too, like that War Room movie, even though it was great to see, a family turn from what they were in the movie to turn to Christ, so to say. Even though that's great, like I thought that the man in that relationship, like even though that does touch on a lot of relationships. Where the man doesn't go to church, or just the woman goes to church, or just the woman has to leave the household.
It's
I understand
kind of stereotypical.
That, right? And I understand that God's grace is there whenever the man lacks his biblical responsibility.
Right.
But still, like this dude just went from a level 10, I'm about to pop you, to I love you. Let's hang out together 24/7. Like it just seemed like it just seemed like that. I'm gonna say this and everything will be better.
Yeah, there's no marriage counseling or anything going on.
They're not working that out. It just kind of happened, and there wasn't even in depth with that character to make that make sense, except for maybe that dream that he had. And I mean, God can do those kinds of things. He can turn, make the heart of stone into a heart of flesh. But I mean, with that character, it's just not believable. It's like, oh, now I want to do.
And then that just makes, get some unbelievers watching this, or even, people who claim to be believers, and then those people who claim to be believers are saying, well, that didn't happen for me. Why didn't it happen for me?
Yeah.
And then instead of them having somebody, within their local leadership to explain to them, hey, this, and this, we have people in the pulpit and, lay guys like you guys and me, that aren't explaining theology well, aren't explaining doctrine well. And then, that forces a whole nother conversation. But, when people have questions after watching these movies, that's another thing. It might start people asking questions, but what kind of answers are we giving?
Are we prepared? Right. And I this is my observation, but I think the majority of us, myself included, because I'm not putting myself on any kind of pedestal, I don't think we're prepared. I don't, to think about it, if you watch God's Not Dead with the attitude of God's Not Dead, you think you can go up against any professor and not get roasted. But I guarantee you, if you tried to, you would. I don't care how much theology you know. I don't care how much Stephen Hawking you read to be able to deal when he quotes him. You're not going to be ready for somebody who's got a PhD. I'm sorry. And you're definitely not going to be ready when he tells you you have to do this for the next 3 classes. Right. That is stupid. I have watched debate after debate after debate, apologetics, Muslims, atheists, and these are people that have done this for years and have studied for years and had doctorates long before they started doing it for those years. So you cannot tell me that a freshman in college can do that way, and then you give people the impression that it's that easy, and they go in there thinking they're all cool and confident because they watch God's Not Dead, or they watch
get destroyed.
And I'm sorry, that's not a message we need to be sending. I don't know. That's something really, until you brought it up, I hadn't really thought about. Like we're giving ourselves, what's the word I'm looking for? We're false confidence. There's false confidence. I mean, and it's not good. And again, movies, you're supposed to suspend your disbelief. But if you go out of the movie feeling all bad about yourself because you're that bad Christian who knows how to deal with that mean atheist, and then you go out with the not so mean atheist and you talk to him, it's like, well, he's not like the movie, Yeah. Or but worse yet, you act like a jerk and then you lose a witness instead of gaining an opportunity. I can't defend these films on that level. I mean, God's Not Dead was probably a good quality film until War Room came out. I think War Room surpassed it quality-wise. But
yeah. Well, hey guys, I know it's cut short, but I got to get off of here. I do have a family, so we started a little bit late. But Josh and Sam are going to keep discussing really important things, so you guys keep listening. And I'll chime in probably on the next episode. I'll kind of give my they're going to discuss abortion and the End Abortion Now movement and the hangout that we're doing Friday night. So I'll probably next episode they'll probably give me a little bit of time to discuss my opinion on those topics.
Definitely.
But it's been a real pleasure, and we really hope to see God glorified in everything that we do within this podcast.
Amen.
And just to grow and just to reach as many people as possible as a collective group as believers. And if any of you guys, I haven't mentioned this to them, but if any of you guys want to or have something really important to say that you would want to get onto a podcast with us, just get with Josh or Sam. I'm kind of just the social media kind of guy. I don't do much of the technical stuff, so get with them, and we'll see about getting anybody on here that wants to be on here.
Absolutely.
Other than that, I really appreciate you guys. You guys have a good time discussing the rest of the stuff. I'm going to go to peace out. Again, My name is Just Jesse, and I'll see you guys next episode.
Thank you, Jesse.
Thanks.
All right, guys.
All right.
Okay. So, I think that's a good time to transition over to our next topic.
That's a good transition.
Yes.
Theonomy. Woo.
Yeah. Well, not exactly.
Not exactly. It'll turn into that eventually. But
let's not go that far. But basically, we want to talk about this. Kind of just for me is like a promotional thing.
Almost. Yeah.
Yeah. Let's see. Let's pull. You got anything up that you could read off of so we have like an exact.
I can pull it up.
Okay.
So, like what Jesse said, we are talking about the End Abortion Now event that Apologia Radio is doing this Friday. Yeah, this Friday, 4 days from now. Is with Arizona Right to Life, and a bunch of other speakers. I know biggest name I saw on the list, other than Jeff Durbin and Marcus Pittman, would be Joel McDermott. How do you say his name? My mind blanked out. Joel something. McDermott?
McDermott, yeah.
Yeah, okay. Joel McDermott. Let me pull this up real quick. I'm trying to get there. Okay, keep talking, Sam, while I'm trying to pull this up.
Right, and so they have basically it's something that Apologia Studios is doing. I think with the Arizona Right for Life or the Phoenix Right for Life, one of the.
It's Arizona Right to Life.
Arizona Right to Life, what did I just click on? I have no idea.
All right, hold on. I've got it pulled up now.
Okay.
So our speakers, we have it's Dr. Herb Titus, Jeff Durbin, Marcus Pittman, obviously Joel McDermott, Matt Truella, I'm not sure how you say that, and Rusty Thomas. So I'm just going to read to you the details of what Apologia has on their page for this event. It says, "How do we end abortion at a state level? On April 8th, we will broadcast a nationwide live stream event into the homes and churches of America. Working with the Arizona Right to Life, pro-life legislators, leaders, and pastors, we will outline a plan to end abortion now." So that's their description they have on their page.
Nice. So basically, the idea behind this is that we don't want to just make it harder to abort babies. Or to murder babies, excuse me.
Yeah.
We want to stop it completely and make it illegal. Now, in saying that, a lot of people recently can recall a certain presidential candidate saying something similar and then going back on it because he put his foot in his mouth and didn't know how to handle it.
Right.
But we're not him. So we're just going to say it. We want to make abortion murder because it is. Morally, it's murder. Legally, it's whatever they're defining it in the law.
It's what do they say it is? My body, my choice, or whatever.
Exactly.
Even though it's not
reproductive
your body by definition, it's not your body.
Yeah.
But for some reason, it's your choice.
The baby inside you, the body that's forming inside your body, it's not your body. But before, because we're probably offending some women that might or might not be listening.
I'm sure.
But hopefully not, because we
want you to listen and hear what we have to say.
Because basically what we're saying is there is a life inside you, and you're killing that life, and that is wrong, morally wrong. And so if it's morally wrong, it should be legally wrong. Because a lot of people will say, well, abortion is not murder under the law, so therefore it's not wrong. But it doesn't matter if it's legally wrong, it's still morally wrong.
Because it's not classified as murder.
Yeah.
It doesn't make it murder in God's eyes for some reason.
Yeah.
For some reason, we seem to have this thing where what God considers right and wrong seems to be determined by what the courts say is right and wrong.
Right.
Which is completely opposite of how it's supposed to be.
There are people who think that, and then there are people who want to kind of worm their way around the legal system and not step on too many toes to kind of make things better, but not totally stop something. And that's where the pro-life movement is now. We're trying to jump through all these legal hoops, and so it's becoming more and more hard to deal with abortion because we're jumping through all these hoops. And what this End Abortion Now movement is saying is, no, we're not jumping through any more hoops. This is what we want.
We're getting rid of the hoops.
Yeah.
This is what's going to happen. This is how it's going to be done.
And it's on the state level, and I think that's honestly the best way to do it. You can't have, and even Donald Trump eventually came out and said, leave it up to the states, which should be, that's the way it should be, because...
That's a whole nother topic.
Yeah.
Oh, boy.
But, Donald Trump, because he said, the things he said And like there are people that I know and I kind of agree with what he said originally, but he backtracked. Not that I'm supporting Donald Trump in any way. I don't want Donald Trump to be president at all. But I'm not endorsing any other candidates because we are a Christian podcast and we don't want to mix our politics with our Christianity here. But I don't like Donald Trump. And I will say that with all the passion in the world.
This is, I guess this kind of, not really off track, but kind of off track. It seems like everybody I talk to hates the man.
Right?
Yet somehow he's still winning.
I don't know.
I can't, like, there's got to be something going on behind the scenes there because that's ridiculous.
I mean, at the same time, there are people who think all of his ideas are great and this is what America needs. He's going to make America great again. I'm just sitting here like, but he's wishy-washy and he keeps going back and forth and he
was a registered Democrat until like 8 years ago.
Exactly. I don't trust him. I mean, that just like I'm sorry. And then like people talk about him not being bought, because he's using his own money. And I'm sitting here thinking, who's the guy that gave the other people that we don't like now money before he started running for president?
Him.
Exactly.
He donated like tons and tons of money to, I think it was Hillary Clinton's campaign.
Clinton? And then when Romney failed, he endorsed Romney. And so it's just like, I don't trust the guy that used to give them money if our standard is he's not bought. He's the one with the money that was giving them money. I mean, come on.
Right.
Come on.
Okay, so
anyway,
before this gets too much more off track.
Yes. Back to abortion. Yeah, so basically this is a whole live stream event where they're going to be talking about, what it would take to end abortion. And they're talking, not only do we have the people at Apologia talking about this, but we have people from the Arizona Right to Life and other
I think there's going to be senators there.
Yeah.
And, just a lot of politicians too.
So this is
pastors.
This is a direct conversation with people in the works. And I'm interested in how this is going to go because I don't know if it's like they already all agree or if it's going to be similar to that interview that Jeff did with who was it? Was it
the national? I think it was the National Right to Life guy. Or are you talking about?
Yeah, he was somebody. Yeah, he was somebody he was like higher up in the national group, but he was also
vice president, I think.
Yeah, but he was also like the chairman of a certain state as well. At the same time. Anyway, so he was interviewing him, and he was like, "Well, I don't think we should classify it as murder, and it would mess up all the stuff, all the stuff we've already got going on." So
I think he said it should be classified as homicide, maybe.
Yeah.
But not murder. I'm like, what's the difference there?
Yeah, I'm confused. And then it's like, and he directly asked him, should we deal with the woman and the father and he's like, well, that's just complicated. And then he straight up said, people that are willing to do abortion procedures, I don't think they can change, which completely denies the gospel. So your so-called Christian conservative movement has unraveled itself and proven to be secular at that point because you're saying those people can't change. You're denying the gospel. And you can just see on the interview Jeff's face just slowly.
He kept his composure talking.
Yes.
But like watching him, like watching the video of it is.
When the end of the video, he just puts his headphones down and just walks away. And I'm like, I feel you, brother. And then they got so much flack for that too. It was not pretty. So anyways, that's going on. We're gonna have a special Google Hangout for the Reform Creators Facebook group. You can definitely join that if you would like at facebook.com/group/the Reform Creators. And you can possibly be in one of possibly 3 hangouts, depending on how this all works out.
So I'll explain the setup first. Google Hangouts allows you to do a 10-person group chat. So if we get more than 10 people, what we'll probably end up doing is, probably end up having to be 2 because I think Jesse is going to be at my house watching it.
Okay.
But we'll split off, and I guess Sam we'll take one group and I'll take the other group, and then we'll just watch it like that. And then if anything needs communicating, it can be communicated through me and Sam.
Right.
So just gonna throw that out real quick. Is what we're doing.
Yeah, that's what we're doing. You can go and send a request to the address I just mentioned, and I'll put the link in the description to the YouTube video and the description to the SoundCloud post. And you can add yourself to that group. You can join us, and especially if you are a Christian creator and you want feedback and you want support on any projects you're doing, you want to collaborate with some folks. That's what it's all about, is just working together.
But even if you're not, if you just enjoy good discussion, enjoy watching other people's work, just Christian artists, if you want to be a part of that, you can definitely join.
Yes, we definitely need people who just want to straight up support other people, because, that's what we're about. We're about collaborating. We're about getting the word out about other folks, and just doing that. We've got a lot of YouTubers, because we started out from YouTube, and then we got some filmmakers in there now. Like I said, I don't know if Jake Bryant, who did the...
just gonna throw his name out there.
Yeah, just
we have people.
Name drop. He helped. He produced the Kingdom of God with Jeff and Marcus and Luke from Apologia Studios.
I completely forgot the other guy's name. Like, I remember Jeff and Marcus, but I couldn't remember Luke's name.
Luke the Bear. They're easy for me to remember because I remember their nicknames. King Ginger and Jeff the Ninja and Luke the Bear.
Yeah.
Enjoy the girl. That's how you do it. That's why I'm the lame man. Because it's easier to remember a nickname than it is to remember somebody's actual name. So we're gonna show that hangout, and you should join the group, especially if you're a creator, and especially if you're a supporter of those that are creators who are Christian, and you want to promote that kind of thing. And we're gonna watch this thing, and then we'll do another podcast after it. And talk about our thoughts on it. That'll give Jesse a chance to talk, and we'll just talk about the event, because it's a big deal for Apologia, because they're doing like multi-camera live streaming, which is the
they got
first time
set up. I've seen.
Oh my gosh!
If you follow Marcus on Facebook, he's been posting pictures everywhere of it.
And I'm just like, just teach me how to do that, please. Like, I would be an unpaid intern for Apology in a heartbeat.
Yeah, can you donate me one of those cameras?
Yeah, I know, right? Just come on, let's
I'll just take the one.
I don't even care. Like, let me just borrow it. Let's collaborate so I can use your equipment. No. But anyways, that's us being nerds and being covetous.
Yeah.
Lord forgive us. But anyways, definitely check out Apologia Studios, since we've already talked about them enough. They're doing awesome work. They're kind of an inspiration to both of us, I would say. As far as this goes, we communicate with them on social media all the time and talk to them about things. They know we're doing our hangout.
They know about our hangout, and they want us to send pictures.
Yes. So we're connected in a few ways, not to be all up high and mighty about it.
It's more in the way of, like, a guy who knows a guy kind of way.
Exactly. There are quite a few people who go to Apologia Church in the Reformed Creators group who know Marcus and Jeff directly, and we know them through Facebook, so we kind of know them indirectly, and it's just
kind of.
It's fun. It's happy fun times, and hopefully.
If any of you saw the picture going around about a week ago of Jeff from the video game he was in. That's my fault.
Yes, he's you are that guy, and that's probably the reason why we're never going to be able to have Jeff on the podcast.
That's what I was talking to Jesse about that one time. I was like, that will be what I am forever known as. Like, he knows who I am, and that is why. Because I dug up that picture of him with a mullet.
Exactly.
He swears it's not a mullet.
So if he's ever on the podcast, that's the first thing we're going to have to talk about. He's going to be like, you were that guy. He's going to get off the Skype call, and you're just going to ruin our chances. No. But I'm
sorry, Jeff.
Yeah.
I'm not really sorry, but kind of sorry.
But I think that about wraps it up. Anything you want to say in closing? Because I think we're good.
yeah, I think that's about it. We talked about what we were going to talk about.
Yeah.
Definitely. Well, I guess this has already been said, but go check out the Reformed Creators Group. Check out Apology Radio. Yeah, that's
And check out our respective YouTube channels,
yes.
Grizzlenator103 and Simply Sam Cooper on YouTube.
Yeah, link will be in the description.
Also, which if you're on YouTube now watching or listening to this, then you already see in front of your face the Reformed Creators YouTube channel. So hit that subscribe button on that one too, so you can get more of this sweet podcasty goodness. And do whatever it is you do on SoundCloud.
Can you follow on SoundCloud? I think you can follow.
I think it's a follow thing. I haven't used it enough to know for sure.
I got it on my. Wait, no, I don't have it on my phone. I deleted it. Never mind. I lied.
And then if you're in the future and we finally made it onto iTunes, subscribe on iTunes.
Is there a certain amount of stuff you have to get on iTunes? What do you have to do?
It's really easy. It just costs money because most of the feed things are subscription based.
Oh, right.
I had my old Lame Christian Radio. I canceled the subscription because I didn't want to have to pay $10 a month. And I had to pay $10 a month because the files I was creating was way too big for the free version. So and that's how they get you is you can't upload anything past a certain amount. You got to pay to get more memory, and so that's how they get you. So eventually we'll be on iTunes. So if you're a time traveler, subscribe to us on iTunes. If you're not a time traveler, just be really, really patient. You will become one because time.
We'll get there eventually.
Yeah, time moves forward. People think it's a linear progression of cause and effects, when actually it's really a big ball of wibbly wobbly, timey wimey stuff. That's a Doctor Who reference for those of you who are not nerd enough for me. I win.
I heard big ball and I'm like, oh, there it goes.
Yes. Okay. And that'll be my goal from now on is to make a Doctor Who reference in every episode. That's my goal. Yes, gotta have at least one. Up until
it has been going on for 50 years, so you should be good.
I have a lot of material to work with, man. I can throw it in there. So, anyways, before it gets any longer, because we're over an hour now. Thank you.
Over an hour and a half. We're getting close to 2 hours.
Well, that's only on Skype. We've only been recording for an hour.
We were on Skype for 50 minutes before we actually started.
Exactly.
That's true.
So, thank you for listening. And we've already told you to do all the things. So
subscribe, follow stuff.
Yes.
Thing.
I'll put our
stuff and things.
Yeah, I'll put Twitter and stuff in the picture, so they'll just follow us from there. If you have Twitter, I have Twitter, so I'll put mine definitely.
Yeah, I got Twitter.
Okay, so we'll do the tweets and the things, and maybe even make it. Anyway, I'm gonna stop rambling and say this is the Lame Man and Grizzlenator signing off for the Reformed Creators.
Episode number 1.
Number 1.